I am Tia Harrison coming at you guys live, right? Today is Friday, and I am getting ready to start dinner for me and my family. And normally I don't cook this late, but the plan was to wait on my mother-in-law because she's gonna be spending the night with us. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and she's gonna be on her way here. But tonight we're having French fries and fried oyster hot wings. Right? I know it's not hot wings. I know how y'all like to get. Okay, it's mushrooms. Okay, it's oyster mushrooms, and we're gonna have that tonight. On Fridays, on Fridays, on Fridays, I normally like to call it Friday, right? And we try to, not every Friday, but on Fridays, we try to eat fries, right? Whether I make them or whether I buy them. Tonight, I got the fries from where? Aldi. And so, look, we already have our oyster mushrooms already ready to go. Now, if y'all could remember, I do have a video where I showed you guys really quick on how to make this chicken substitute. And it's really like literally just look at this. Imagine you are making, what does it say? Okay, imagine you're making fried chicken, okay? It's not chicken, right? But the thing about it is that you are imagining, right? You are putting it in your mind that this is your chicken and you're substituting regular chicken for oyster, oyster mushrooms. Why? Because it's healthier for you, right? And again, I'm not telling you to go vegan. I'm not telling you to go plant-based. I'm not telling you to adopt that lifestyle. What I am saying is that from time to time, you're going to have to step away from the junk food, right? So you can connect with yourself, right? And so this is why the Most High tells us, right, what foods that we should eat or what we can eat, and then also the foods that we should stay far away from, right? He tells us to stay away from certain foods. It's because it brings our spirit down. And that's what the world wants. The world wants us to operate on a very low frequency. But as we continue to put our kingdom first, right? Put our kingdom first, because if our body is the temple and if the Holy Spirit dwells within us, then guess what? This is the kingdom. So we want to make sure that we're putting our kingdom first, because as long as we do that, everything else is going to follow, right? So again, I'm not telling you to eat like this 24/7, but challenge yourself, right? Because let me tell you, me eating this way is what allowed me to quantum leap, right? Everybody's talking about quantum leaping. Everybody's talking about, how can I change my life? How can I get away from the chaos and into the peace? I'm going to tell you how, right? You got to put the kingdom first, right? You got to go back to, the laws that the Most High has given us, so that we can be in covenant with Him. Because as long as we are in covenant with Him, we don't have to worry about the chaos that's going on in the world. So what's going on in the world is that there's two groups. There's two groups of people, right? You have there's two groups of people, okay? You have the people who are operating in chaos, and then you have the people who are operating in the Most High. Those who are operating in the Most High, these people are at peace. They're not worrying about what's going on in the world. They know that all of it is just it's a distraction, right? We know that. And so I don't know what y'all call. I know I'll have people in and out the room, but I don't know what y'all call, your creator or what you to believe him as. Some people say Jesus, some people say God, some people say Lord, some people say Buddha, some people say Allah, some people say whatever. One thing I've learned is that if you are operating in the spirit of truth, it really doesn't matter what you call him or what you call it or what you call her. It doesn't matter because it's a spirit, right? And spirits does not have any physical titles, right? So it's all about what makes sense to you. And that's what a relationship is all about, right? So I'm not here telling you, oh, you need to, you know, follow this way or go that. No, because guess what? That's religion. That's me controlling you. That's me telling you how it should look for you in a relationship with the Creator. The only thing that matters is that if your life is changing because of what you believe. Do you have fruit of what you believe? Okay? And so when it comes down to me, because I'm somebody who cannot lie to myself, I have to keep it real all around, right? If it's not working for me, then guess what? I go within. And I figure out like what is what's going on? Like why am I out of alignment? When you are not in alignment, guess what? Things just don't work out. It don't work out. So again, me eating like this and me showing y'all like how to cook like this, it's only for you to connect with the Most High, or with your higher self, or with your Creator, or with whatever you call it, is for you to connect. And guess what? How I teach, right? My message, the way the Most High wired me, is that I love the scriptures. I love the scriptures, so I'm gonna quote some scriptures. You see what I'm saying? I've been through every journey. I've been through every understanding, every ideology. I've traveled down that road to understand that who the Most High is for me. It's relationship. Okay? So again, it started with food. It started with food. It started with food. I quantum leaped with food. I quantum leap. I mean, of course, back when I did it, 2017, I didn't know that I was quantum leaping. I didn't know that my life would change and shift, and I didn't know that these things were going to happen. I was just eating from the earth, right? And Christians in religion, they call it Daniel fasting, right? I Daniel fast, right? Even though I left the church. And like when I had my awakening, I was in my backyard. I met the Most High in my backyard, right? And it started with food. Why? Because I was addicted to sugar. I was addicted to the fried foods. I was addicted to, the junk foods. I was addicted to sugar, right? And when you are addicted to sugar, it just simply means that you're not loving yourself. You have you are lacking self-love. And I always say, right, you have to find that love within. That's the only way, right? And this is why I go by the Ten Commandments, because I think the fourth commandment is honor thy father and thy mother. And a lot of people are saying, or a lot of people think like, man, I gotta respect my mom, I gotta respect my dad, but they did awful things to me. And it's like, well, we all were dealt a certain amount of cards or different type of cards, and we have to understand why the Creator has given us those set of cards. It's not to, be a victim. It's not to, cause blame. But let me tell you something. Because the longer you go no contact with your parents, you are doing yourself a disservice, especially if you are not healing during that time. Right? If you have victimized yourself, if you've made yourself out to be a victim, and you are separating yourself from your parents, listen, you're doing yourself a disservice, because our parents, y'all, they represent the divine within us. We have a father in us, we have a mother in us, and we have a child in us. Okay? And so what that means is that, when you hear a lot of people say we have to parent ourselves, right? And that is true. We have to parent ourselves, but which parent? Do we have to mother ourselves? Do we have to father ourselves? Which parent? Which parent? Right? Because each parent represents a different frequency, a different energy, and they're both divine. Okay? So when you look at the divine masculine, a lot of times, you know, we we like to call the creator a he, right? We say he, or even in Christianity, because Christianity is my roots, right? We call we call the father. The father is a he, and that is true. He is a he. He's the divine masculine. So once you master that divine masculine within you, that fatherly side within you, right? Then you can operate and you can be, right? Because of the connection that you now have with your divine feminine. Okay? The divine feminine is the mother, is the motherly side of you. And a lot of men there's a lot of men who cannot operate in their divine masculine, right? Because they don't know how to mother themselves. We were raised and or brought up in a world where everybody they praise wrong, right? They praise the upside down. And in order for you to heal men, in order for you to heal and operate in your divine masculine, which is what a lot of us divine feminines are looking for and wanting, in order for you men to operate in your divine masculine, aka your ground man energy, you have to heal your mother wounds. Right? Unfortunately, your mother, between the ages of 0 and 7, when you were in the womb, up until you were old enough, unfortunately, your mother used you as a emotional blanket. Unfortunately, right? So what happens is that you grow up in a world not understanding the emotions that she deposited in you, which is trauma. So instead of you releasing those emotions, right? Anger is going to be our topic of discussion today, right? So instead of you releasing, let's just say the anger, what happens is that you allow it to get trapped in your body because you're not dealing with the thing, okay? And so I took a little notes today, and I'm gonna have these notes out while I cook. Again, it's not gonna be a long live, but I wanted to show y'all what I mean when I say use your food to heal. Cook intentionally so you can heal, okay? Because guess what? Cooking is an art, right? When you cook, you are worshiping the creator, no matter what you call it. Cooking is art. It's an art, right? Whether you journal, it's an art. Whether you write, it's an art. Poetry, art. Drawing, art. All of it is art. Dancing, singing, all of it is art. These are your natural abilities that the Creator has given you so that you may worship it in spirit and in truth. Right? So, yes. Okay, so let's go ahead and, again, I have my notes. We're talking about anger, y'all. And again, I don't want this live to be long. I want it to be short and effective, okay? I want you to get something out of tonight's live, okay? So again, we're making, and matter of fact, okay? We're making hot wings, right? If you are somebody who loves spicy food, right? You just love spicy food, you love spice. Spiciness is connected to anger, okay? Spicy foods, you loving spicy foods is connected to anger, right? But the beautiful thing about it is that we have these lower emotions, but then again, there's polarity, because on the other side of anger is what? Clarity, right? What else is on the other side of anger? Let's see, because I wrote it down. The other side of anger is on. Let me see. Oh, I wrote, okay. When it's healed, okay? So when anger is healed, the other side of anger is going to be clarity, courage, and self-respect. Okay? Clarity, courage, and self-respect. Why is this important? Okay? This is important because in order for us to remove those toxic traits, those toxic emotions, right? In order for us to remove it, we have to first have a revelation that it's in us, right? We have to be true to ourselves, right? Because the emotion only becomes negative when you don't release it. When it creates space in your body, when it creates a home in your body, that's when it becomes toxic. And that's where the addictions and the poor habits come. Because now you're feeding that instead of you feeding you, right? Which is why your body is a temple, because it's connected to you on a higher level. So earlier on, I talked about there's two groups of people that's roaming the earth right now. Those who are in chaos and those who are in alignment, right? Those who are in chaos, who's worrying about these worldly systems and who can't sleep and who don't have peace, these people are out of alignment and they are in their shadow. They don't understand their shadow. They don't understand their truest selves, their truest nature. And most people are Christians. And it's unfortunately, right? Because I was there. But we have to elevate out of these worldly systems because that's what Yahusha, the Messiah, that's what his mission was all about, right? Get a chance to study the life of the Messiah, and you'll see how he's not what Christianity has created him to be, but that you are supposed to be walking that same life. But we're too busy worshiping things outside of us. And this is why the Most High says, do not have any other gods before me. Do not have any graven images. Cut all that out. Cut it out. Because that religious system is connected to the government system. Your life will start to change when you return home. When you go back to the Father, when you truly understand why he put those commandments in place, not because he's trying to punish you, not because he wants you to live a boring life, but because he loves you and he's a father and he's going to protect you to make sure you're safe out in this vicious world, but also for you to walk in your authority, your dominion, and your power. But you can't do that when your lower emotions done got trapped and now you walking around like a demon. But these Christians, like they want to demonize everything because they have their own shadows, their own darkness, their own demons they have yet to sit with. But you go to a church, right? And you allow them to emotionally manipulate you, meaning you allow them to keep those demons stuck, to keep those shadows stuck. And the moment you have a thought that opposes their system, you're demonizing it. Or when you see somebody who's different, somebody who wears crystals, you look at it as it being demonic. It's only demonic because you don't understand it. Everything is a tool. The Most High has given us tools. Tools, y'all. The Bible is a tool. Right? So you have to get to a place to where that you truly trust Him without tools. But you know that 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 you know. Without somebody interceding on your behalf. or which is fine, but it's not for you to stay there. If the Most High is vast, if the Most High is um, abundant, why do you keep him so small? Newsflash, you keep the Most High small, you're keeping yourself small. Because y'all are one. Y'all are one. You are the Messiah in your world. What are you going to do about that? Do you have enough confidence? Do you have enough faith to walk that life? And for a lot of people, 90%, no. 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 The answer is no. So this is why I do what I do. So you can get to that point in your life where that your lower emotions are not controlling you, but that you are truly connected with yourself, and you don't need nobody to tell you who the Most High is or what He says is forbidden or not. Man, that's people pleasing. That's performance. You're pleasing man, not the Most High. You're pleasing man. So the idea is to connect to you. That's it. That's it. Like you have to connect with you. That is the only way. Y'all wait on these government systems. You waiting on your family members. You waiting on your mama, your daddy, and baby, my bitch, she's 7 years old. Okay, and she knows the things of the spirit. She knows she knows the Most High personally.
I know a lot of
because
things.
we're not doing this religion crap. That's a curse. That's a curse. And even though I had to start that way, right? But I didn't stay because the Most High removed me from those systems because I decided to continue to seek. You have to continue to seek.
Mom,
It's not, oh, Jesus saved me from a sinful nature and I'm going to stop there. No, you need to keep going. You need to keep seeking. There's no stopping to seeking. Keep seeking. Keep finding, because guess what? It's going to be revealed. It's going to be revealed. And it's all about how bad you want it. How much do you want to change? Because at the end of the day, change starts with you. You can't change nobody else. You can't change the situation until you make up your mind. You make it up that you really want to change. You really want to do better. You really want to be better. You really want to tap into your heart's desires. The desires that the Creator has instilled within you. Those desires are not there for a reason. I'm sorry, those desires are not there for nothing. They are there so that you can access it. And if you're dependent on the world to give you those things, then baby, please. They can't. It can't. It manipulates. It steals. It kills. It destroys. Because the moment you feel like you're at your breakthrough is the moment. It's the moment. You got to go back all the way around through that cycle because you were deceived. So, knowing the Most High is a personal journey, y'all. It's a personal journey. My job is to help you get there. That's it. I'm not here to tell you it's wrong. I'm not going to, let me tell y'all. For me to, okay, so my journey has been long. I've been through all these different type of religions. I've been through New Age. I've been through it all, okay? To where that I finally understand what it means to have a relationship with the Most High. I was able to have a very, very spiritual-led conversation with a brother who is Nation of Islam. Do y'all hear me? I was able to have a conversation with a brother who is Nation of Islam. And he wasn't trying to convert me, and I wasn't trying to convert him. But guess what? Because we know the Creator, no matter what we call it, the only thing that remained true is that we were operating in the spirit of truth, and we were able to coexist with love and with understanding. Because we both had his spirit. It looked different, but we both had his spirit. So anytime religion comes into play, ask yourself why they want you to believe in certain religions so bad. Because it's control, because you are disconnected from yourself. It's easier for somebody to control you when you don't know who you are. When you don't have a relationship with your maker, it's easy for a man to control you. So, again, tonight's live is all about anger. We're going to talk about anger. And again, if you're somebody who likes spicy food, you can like spicy food. I love spicy food. I don't eat it as much anymore, but it was a time in my life where I loved me some hot and spicy food. I'll still add a little spiciness, right? Kind of like mix it up, sweet and spicy, and things like that. But we're doing hot wings, and because we're doing hot wings, we're going to also talk about anger, because anger is also connected to like the love for spicy foods, hot foods, right? A lot of times that's an emotional call to assess what's trapped, right? Right? So we're going to start from the beginning. Okay, so I seasoned my oyster mushrooms. I use garlic powder, onion powder. I also use some kicked up chicken seasoning. This is from Aldi. And then I use some Cajun, a little bit of Cajun seasoning. And I'm gonna use a little bit of Celtic salt. I want to make sure these mushrooms are seasoned right after they're fried, because a lot of times when you fry mushrooms and you just you just season the flour, you don't really get like that. It's bland. Let me just say that. I'm using spelt flour. And then I'm also going to make a wet batter. And we're going to fry in 100% grapeseed oil. Okay? So, now, I do have another video on my page, because y'all are going to have to wait for this video to get the recipe. I already have another video of fried oyster mushrooms. Okay, so
I was just telling Chris, I said, how you doing, Lady Bug?
I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, girl, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Excuse me.
So we're cooking, and we were gonna wait on you to cook, so you could see us cooking, or you could cook with us. But I just told Brian, I was like, wait, Granny is getting off of work. She's gonna be tired, so she can probably just sit and watch. Granny can sit and watch.
That's what I was thinking.
Y'all doing all right today?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, babe, if you are hungry right now, I made you a salad. The salad in the wrap. The salad I get from HEB? I just put it in the wrap. So it's up to you.
Let me wash my hands.
Okay, so we have our. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just got to looking at you while you demonstrating doing your
The
shadow.
cooking? Come on, pull up a seat. Well,
So
bacon.
I'm gonna wash my
Okay, you
hands.
done?
If I was just being nosy for a minute.
Okay. Okay, so what we have here is the spelt flour, right? So we're gonna make this the whip, right? So what I like to do is get ice cold water. As you can see, the cup is turning purple, right? What does purple symbolize, right? Purple symbolizes the crown, right? Your energy center, okay? Understanding. If it's clouded, if it's not spinning the way that it's supposed to be spinning, guess what? What does that mean? Cloudiness and inability to focus and all of that. So we want to make sure that all of our energy centers are spinning the way they're supposed to be spinning. So I just thought that I'd share that with y'all. Because again, we talk about emotions, and the thing about emotions is that you have to know about your energy centers. Because these negative emotions, they get trapped and it distorts your energy centers, right? So again, we're talking about this crown chakra, this purple right here, right? So when you think of the word anger, right? When you think of the word anger, what color comes to mind? There's no wrong answers, y'all. I would love if y'all participate. What color comes to mind? When you think of the word or the emotion anger, what color comes to mind? Ryan, can you please turn off the TV, please? Can anybody answer that? What can you turn off the TV? What emotion comes to mind when you hear the word anger? What color? I'm sorry, I don't know if I said that. What color comes to mind? Look. So this is a nice consistency. I'm gonna add a little bit more. A little bit more water. And then I'm going to add the chicken seasoning again, just so that I can have that chicken taste, right? I'm not gonna add any more salt to it. I just want that taste. I want the flavor from the spices, because I already added the salt here. Hey, honey. How are you doing? You coming to join me? So, it'd probably be done by the time. I don't know, cause I have some notes here.
Yeah.
I'm about to start talking about. So, okay, so this is the dry batter or the dry mix, which is literally just spelt flour, and I'm going to add. Cornstarch, just to give it a little crisp. Now, I don't recommend you use this. However, if this is all you have, then use it. A better replacement would be arrowroot.
I can't.
Arrowroot and potato starch.
Potato starch.
What? Huh?
I'm just helping you. I'm used to hearing you say it.
Yeah. Hubby's gonna help. He's gonna help in the kitchen, y'all.
I'll
He
be
just made
watching.
it home. I'm gonna put him to work.
I'll be watching.
I'm gonna put him to work. Okay. So, boom. Okay. And I'm gonna add a little bit here too. You want a chair? No, you want a chair?
Oh no, I'm hopping your shower.
Okay, but still, wait, can you bring the chair for
It's
your mom?
right here.
Yeah.
It's a bigger one.
I'm hopping your shower.
That's not comfortable.
Oh.
That's not comfortable. Okay, I may not be on live anymore, but the food at least would be.
I enjoy this.
Yeah, I really want you to, come in and I'll slow it down.
Are you okay?
Okay,
Go ahead.
okay. Looking like Aurora, or Aurora looking like you. Okay, so we're making oyster fried chicken.
Okay.
It's not chicken, but it's a chicken replacement. It's a better option.
Okay.
Because these days, how they're making chickens, if you're not going to the farmer yourself, and if you don't know the farmer personally, I do not recommend. I don't, because they're shooting the chicken up with so many different chemicals, and these chemicals are, again, keeping you stuck in your lower nature, right? It's feeding the negative emotions that you have yet to release, right? So this live, so what I do is I cook and I also talk about trapped emotions, right?
Okay.
So I use food as a tool to heal,
Okay.
right? So that one may connect to the Most High or their highest self or whatever they call it, whatever makes sense to them.
Mhm.
But I use food because that's how my awakening happened.
Okay.
I guess the Oyster Mushrooms like, can you just dip us in already? Because they fail. So so I was sharing with you. You remember when I was sharing with you about us as women and like our nervous system? So our nervous system is what we pass on to our children, right? And so before your nervous system, it was your mother's nervous system, and before her nervous system, it was her mom,
Yeah.
right? And so in order for us to be in a space of peace, right, and less stress, then we have to regulate our nervous system. And the best way for us to regulate our nervous system is for us to deal with the lower emotions that built a home within our body, within our temple. So basically, we have to give those lower emotions an eviction notice. Like we gotta tell them to get out, right? And so the best way I've learned, or what the Most High revealed to me, is that you need education, right? No, I'm sorry. You need revelation, right? Revelation of something is wrong,
Okay.
right? You need that revelation, and then you need education to find out what it is so it can leave, right? And so how you remove that negative emotion is you transmute it, right? You it's kind of like an exchange. So you replace it, just like the food, right? So instead of eating chicken, we're eating oyster mushrooms, right? So instead of allowing the anger to manifest, we get it out by using our art, whatever art form that is. And then in exchange, we get the clarity, we get the courage, and we also get the self-respect. Okay? And so, but I was asking the audience, hey y'all, so we're talking about trapped emotions, and the emotion tonight is all about anger and transmuting anger to its highest form so that it can leave our body and we can invite more light into our temple, right? So while we talk about these lower emotions, we're frying oyster mushrooms, right? We're making hot wings, okay? Some foods that relate to anger would be like spicy food, right? So like a lot of people who like I used to love spice. So instead of me acting out on my anger, I used to suppress it. I never like expressed it. I kept it in, right? And so that's what a lot of people do, right? But that doesn't help because it you start to feel it in your body and it starts to manifest as different things. One of the diseases that anger is connected to is high blood pressure. High blood pressure comes from anger, right? And so, again, I was asking the audience, like, what, when you think of anger, what color do you see?
You usually see red.
You will see red. Come on, mama.
You usually see
You
red.
will usually see red, right?
Yes.
And so that red is related to the root, right? Your root chakra. The root chakra is also red.
Okay.
And it relates to your foundation, your security, your identity, and also your purpose. And it's also a masculine energy, right? So earlier on in the conversation, I shared with the viewers that we have our mother and our father in us. That's the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Those two are within us. This is why the Most High commands us to honor our father and our mother, right? But the thing with that is a lot of women don't know their fathers, right?
So they don't know how to
So-
control their masculine.
So they don't know, but we were taught religion,
Yeah.
right? To be the replacement, even for everybody, to be, because the Most High is our Father,
Yeah.
right? So that's how we were supposed to learn the divine masculine energy, right? Our mothers, right, represents the divine feminine, right? It is the intuition, it is the knowing, it is the being soft, the nurturing, being safe, even in our own bodies, right? So the idea is for us to integrate the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So when we integrate them, when we put them together, then we'll be able to operate in the higher emotion of whatever negative emotion that's trying to run the show. You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go through the different, I took notes. This is what I was doing. This is a part of my, I think I showed y'all already. This is a part of this is what I do. So again, the root is feeling powerless, okay? Feeling disrespected or unseen, often linked to childhood moments when expressing anger wasn't safe or accepted, okay? So if you grew up in a house where you were not able to express yourself, you know what I'm saying? A lot of Christian households, right, experience this type of suppression, right, when it comes down to expressing themselves. And also a lot of parents really didn't have the patience to be able to pay attention to their child, especially their special child, right? Because I was a special child. So when I was growing up, I didn't see things the way that the world seen things. I seen things on a different level. Why? Right? Because I've always been a spiritual being. I've always been connected. But I've allowed the world and their systems, right, and their education to crucify in a way me, right? Because I did not understand like most people understood. I spent most of my time in the spirit realm, right? And so when I would go to my mother and I would go to my father and even like my siblings and my friends, when I would go to these people and share my perspective or share my experience, it was always, it wasn't a full, like their full attention wasn't there, right? It's like I lost them somewhere, right? Or even with my sisters, they'll talk about me or they'll call me dumb or they'll call me ADD, right? because I wasn't seeing what they were saying, even though I wasn't diagnosed. But now that we know ADHD just basically means that you're a highly, you're spiritual. You're very,
very
yeah,
intelligent.
you're very
You're
like,
average
mhm.
human being.
And so the thing about it is that when you are ADHD, right? I'm self-diagnosed, right, and also neurodivergent. When you are operating in that frequency, a lot of times you are in the spiritual realm. You are. It's very very rare that you are on this earth. And anytime you try to create a home or create some type of um, what is the word I'm looking for? When you try to become a part of the world, okay, and the world's way of doing things and the world's understanding, it becomes very chaotic for you. So for a lot of y'all, and especially women, you need to return back to the spirit. And I'm not saying you gotta die to do so. What I'm saying is that you need to really understand these emotions, because these emotions, it's really intelligence. These emotions is really your guidance. These emotions are really the Most High or your Creator, because the Bible says that it is her, it is she who is connected to, or the Most High is in her, she will not fall. Right? But we gotten so conditioned to the world telling us to be quiet, right? Telling us not to express ourselves. And a lot of us, we have to express ourselves. If we don't express ourselves, then we we are really locking our own selves up. Even if you have to talk to yourself by yourself in your own space, then do that. Because when you do that, you are utilizing the divine masculine is going to create that safe space which is within you. This is why solitude is important. If you do not have that divine masculine in your life, that man or that male in your life who will sit down and listen to you and you can pour your heart out to, if you don't have that, then guess who you have? You have you. But you have to sit yourself down long enough and open up your mouth and be true to yourself, because who's judging you other than you? So you have to release these emotions if you want to feel safety. We talked about, again, the two groups of people that's operating right now on this earth: those who are in peace and those who are in chaos. Which frequency are you on? And you have to be true to yourself. You have to be true to yourself. Because that is the only way you are going to be able to move forward. Everything that you want, all of your heart desires, you will be able to achieve just that. You know why? Because you know who your maker is, because you are connected to your maker. And you are not afraid to speak. Y'all, the voice is important. This is how we manifest. So if you can't be true to yourself, you gotta first start with being true. So if you cannot be true to you, you cannot expect nobody else to be true to you. If you don't choose you, you cannot expect for nobody else to choose you. It all starts with you. If you want change, it starts with you. You. It starts with you. Okay? So the emotional core, right? So what your spirit really wants, besides that anger, right? It wants a deep cry for justice. It's a deep cry for justice. And this is not saying, oh, this person did me wrong, so I'm going to pay them back and I'm going to do this. No, because vengeance belongs to the Most High. All you have to do is be authentic. All you have to do is say yes to his ruach, to his spirit. Because as long as you are in agreement with these lower emotions as trapped, you're working with the ops. You're working with the ops. right? Protection and autonomy. This is what's at the root, right? You want a safe space to be able to be you. But you have to understand that that safe space, it's created within. Everything happens within. It starts within. This is why the Messiah says that the kingdom of heaven is within. Everything starts within. So if you want that safe space, instead of looking for it outside of you, you have to create it within you. And how does that happen? When the divine feminine and the divine masculine come together, when they are healed, this is balance. This is mother and father, right? But the Creator gives us examples outside of us, such as our mothers and fathers, to heal that shit. And if we don't heal, then guess what happens? We stay stuck, or we go no contact and we don't talk to them. Not knowing that it does a disservice, because you ain't really healing, you disassociating. But that's the family you chose. And now I'm speaking on a totally different level. So I try to keep it surface. I try to keep it, earthly. I try to keep it right, because you understand it on a religious level. I try to keep it there. But the moment I start speaking outside of the worldly system, your ears probably close up. And that's the curse. So the Bible says, those who have ears, let them hear the Most High. If you have eyes, see the Most High. It says it for a reason. Autonomy is when you have been shut out for so long, right? And you just start to create your own world or your own understanding, right? And you don't have no room for like other perceptions or other perspectives. It's just you and what you created because of your hurt, right? And your pain. So autonomy would be, I want to say autonomy would be you being able to operate as a sovereign being, right? But the right way. Because a lot of people are saying that they're sovereign, but you just operated in ego. And instead of being in solitude, you are in isolation. So when somebody corrects you, right, you can't accept it. So the physical manifestation of anger, we talked about one earlier. We're going to go ahead and go down the list. Again, y'all, I took notes earlier. I prepared myself for this. But somebody going to be free of anger today, tonight, on this here wicked night. Somebody going to be set free, okay? So the physical manifestation of anger is going to be tightness in the jaw. So how many of you just be sitting down on social media or whatever you're doing, and your jaws are tight? Like you just, jaws are tight. How many of y'all ever noticed that about yourselves, right? Tightness of the jaw. Not being able to open up your mouth and even speak. Or you've been silenced for so long, your jaws are tight. That's anger. That's suppressed anger. You have to let it out. Your shoulders, right? Because you may be somebody who has so many solutions to change the world, so many solutions to help yourself, right? To change the world. But if you're not speaking out on it, if you're not creating, if you're not being in your highest spirit, your highest energy, or your highest self, if you're not in that energy, what happens? You get that victimization attitude and the blame and the woe it's me. And I got all this, like I'm carrying all this stuff. Where you're carrying it because you're not opening up your mouth to speak. What is it that you need? You're going to have to use your words. You have to communicate. Communication is the only way you're able to manifest. It's the only way you're able to speak things into existence. It's the only way you are able to, it is the only way you are able to release, right? Not the only way to release, but it's one of the ways. It's one of the ways you can release, right? And then you have gut and digestive issues, right? When you're holding on to anger, you can have gut and digestive issues. Constipated. Can't use the restroom. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking the oyster mushrooms and I'm putting it in the dry batter. And then I'm gonna lay them on this tray here, and then we're gonna fry them once I get them all. I want y'all to be able to see what I'm doing. So again, constipation, right? And listen, when I said shit earlier, I created an acronym for that word. Shit, still holding in trauma. That's what that means. And you gotta let that shit go. You gotta let it go. Okay? And headaches, high blood pressure. High blood pressure is like the number one. And a lot of black people like to say, high blood pressure, hypertension, that runs in my family. Well, baby, when is it gonna stop? When is it gonna end with you? When? Because it don't have to run in your family. Because who gave it permission to run anything? Release that. Release it. Release it. High blood pressure. Again, anger. Suppressed anger. Okay? And so the energetic message for the anger would be my boundaries were crossed. Okay? And my voice wasn't heard. That is what your spirit, that is what your soul is saying.
Did you hear the wall talk?
The crack.
No, literally, when people weren't paying attention to your words or just ignoring you. Did you hear the wall talk?
Can you turn off your light in your room, please?
Did you hear the wall talk?
And so, my boundaries were crossed and my voice wasn't heard. Oftentimes, when people cross your boundaries, right, when people trigger you, it is simply because you have some stuff in you that need to come out. Because there's no way you would attract people whose agenda is to hurt you, to disrespect you. Remember, going back to the beginning, right? The root of anger is it being linked to self-respect. If you're not respecting yourself, then nobody else will. Nobody else will. And that's very important. Okay? Now, the higher transmutation of anger would be, where's my phone? Oh, there it is. The higher transmutation of anger is going to be, when it's healed, anger transforms into clarity, courage, and self-respect. And I gave y'all that earlier, right? And it's the ability to speak truth with calm authority rather than rage. We've all heard, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
No.
If it was dealt with within, then you should be able to communicate without the rage, right? And you should be able to communicate in a way that represents a healed feminine energy. Because again, the divine masculine creates that safe space for you to speak up. And that feminine energy is your ability to speak with softness. And sometimes not even speak at all, because your spirit will do all the talking for you. So now, talking about the masculine energy, right? The role of the masculine energy, when it comes down to us having those energies within us, and then for it to manifest outside of us, so like in our fathers or in our relationships, right? It is to protect, assert, and create structure. And it is also a lot more, but again, we're talking about anger. So it says, when that part of you is wounded or suppressed, okay? Example, you weren't able to speak up when you were a child, okay? You weren't able to defend or express yourself when you were a child. See, a lot of these emotions, they develop between the ages of 0 to 7 years old. Okay? So what's been happening is that these emotions have been maturing within us. And this is why a lot of us are walking around with imposter syndrome. We don't know who we are because we've been feeding a beast. The same beast that the church told you to be scared of. And this is why a lot of you go to church on Sundays, because you're scared of yourself. That's the hard truth. But I'm letting you know, right, that the truth will hurt first. It'll hurt first, and then you will be able to recognize the realness of what it's given. So, when you are not able to speak up for yourself, defend yourself, and express your power, you know what happens? Right? That energy builds up as anger. You mad now. You can't have no conversations. Somebody say the wrong thing and you fire going off within you. So, you know, and when that happens, you might feel defensive, explosive, right? Compensating your masculine. You become passive or resentful. What else? And you feel like you have to always hold it together. Because if not, then you're gonna explode. Let me say this. We are living in a day and age to where that all of these people walking around with these suppressed emotions that has turned into demons, that has turned into demonic entities, right? Let me explain to y'all what that means, right? All it means is low, like a very low, carnal, if you will. That's what that means. So that's one. In truth, okay, anger is saying, I need to reclaim my power, my voice, and my right to be respected. And what did I tell us earlier? If you ain't respecting yourself, if you ain't choosing yourself, if you ain't loving yourself, then do not expect nobody else to do those things for you. It's so simple, but we rather make it hard. Because we have become a servant to those things that are no longer serving us. We don't know how to release it. We don't know how to let it go. Because why? Our nervous system has built a comfortable space in that trauma. So in order to enjoy the fruits of the new world, baby, your nervous system has to be regulated. That's the only way, sweeties. That's the only way. Listen, I tried everything else outside of me. Okay? Everything outside of me. And my channel is all about healing the divine masculine. That side of you. So that side of you can be whole. Because when you can feel safe within you, then you have the authority to be you. The divine masculine for me is my father. It is the Most High. I should be showing y'all what I'm doing. Again, we're making fried oyster mushrooms, hot wings, but we're using oyster mushrooms to replace the wings. Okay, again, alchemy, changing one thing into another for the betterment of you. If chicken is a low vibratory frequency food, then replace it. Because if it's low vibratory, then guess what? When you eat it, and especially if you're eating it in a low state, it just becomes trapped, the emotion again. And this is why when the Bible says, in the New Testament, what you eat don't defile you. That's not for everybody. Because everybody has not evolved to a place of being. When you can get to a place to where that your emotions are not controlling you, only then what you eat on whatever level can't defile you. And even if you were on that level, you wouldn't want the junk anyway. You're not going to want it. You're going to want to eat the foods that are healthiest for you. You're going to want to improve your wellness. You're going to want to take better care of the temple that you were given, the kingdom. Put the kingdom first, and everything else will be added. It's you.
It's you. Ooh.
Okay, so now I ran out of the wet, and I have a little bit more. So the fire becomes, so when healed, when the anger is healed, what happens is that the fire becomes divine assertiveness, right? A calm, grounded authority that gets boundaries without needing to fight. People just respect you because you're respecting yourself. I'm telling you, when you heal, everything changes. And because let me tell you, we are listen, if we are spiritual beings having a human experience, the first thing somebody is going to see when you walk up on them or when you meet them or whatever, it's always going to be your spirit, whether they know it or not. And this is why the Bible says, test the spirit by the spirit. We're going to always see the spirit first. We're going to see the spirit first. So, again, when you do the work, again, this is why also I haven't started just yet, but I will be starting soon, teaching y'all about the chakras, because the chakras or your energy centers is important for you to know. But again, religion has demonized it all, but the Most High is in everything. You need it to understand you, because everything is connected. If we are spiritual beings having a human experience, then it means that we have energy centers. We have centers where our energy flows if we allow it, or it gets stuck. And when it's stuck, it ain't spinning no more. So if your root chakra, if your root is out of alignment, there's no foundation, there's no identity, there's no purpose, and 9 out of 10, you are operating in anger because you are disconnected. Your soul is mad because you don't know you. So if the root is out of alignment, if the root is out of kingdom order, if the root is out of divine order, then every other chakra is as well. So boom, after your root, it's your sacral. Your sacral is all about creativity, being able to create. A lot of people have been creating fear. You know why? Because they are grounded in the lowest level, 3D, carnal. That's what the Bible says. You're grounded to this earth. So you're creating out of fear. So after you get out of that sacral energy, you then have your solar plexus. That's your willpower. A lot of y'all ain't got willpower, because how many of you can do a fast for at least one day? A lot of y'all have an agreement with food, chicken. A lot of y'all have agreements with your addictions. So you don't have no willpower. And then you go to your heart, which a lot of people have hardened hearts because of their inability to heal their mother and father wounds. That's it, y'all. That's the secret sauce right there. It's your mother and your father. It's your mother and your father. That's where those wounds come from. Because however you view your mother and your father is going to be the same way you view your creator. Subconsciously. And can I tell you that your subconscious is what runs the show? So, hardened hearts. Because your inability to forgive. Let it go. Because even the Bible says you holding on to stuff, you're going to end up in their prison. You're going to end up in their hell. Because you are offended. Let it go. And really and truly understand. Whether you feel like you had the best childhood and your mother and your father were the best example, you still have mother wounds and father wounds. They still exist. They still exist. These wounds compute to masculine and feminine wounds. And a lot of us are unbalanced because we feed a lot of our, we give so much attention to one side, right? So earlier I said, they tell us to parent ourselves, right? You gotta parent yourself. Parent yourself, well, which parent? The mother or the father? Newsflash, okay? Men, you have to mother yourself. It may sound weird, but in order for you to connect with the Most High, that's one advantage that us women have. We are connected to the Most High. Because these emotions flow through us. We are emotional beings, spiritual beings. Emotions are spirits. Man, you have to mother yourself. In order for you to tap into your divine masculine, you have to mother yourself. And what does this look like? We grew up in a patriarch society, right? What that means is that the men run and rule everything, but they don't know nothing. They know ego. Because they don't have no true connection to the divine. Because women, right, were told to be quiet. So if man doesn't have a true connection with the divine, then what does that mean, men? What does that mean? Y'all need to start there. Stop thinking because of the world's way told you that women had to do your laundry or had to cook your food, or women had to be quiet and just tend to the kids. That system is crashing. And if you want to thrive in this new world, you better mother yourself now. Nurture yourself. Love yourself. That's why a lot of men are single. right? Because a lot of women who are operating in their divine feminine, we ain't got time to do heal what your mama should have done. We don't have time for that. So your best bet is to you're not eating it right now.
I know.
Put it back.
But I'm good.
So your best bet is to start nurturing yourself. Start cooking for yourself. Because I'm gonna tell you to cook for yourself. But I'm gonna tell you to cook foods from the earth. And be intentional with your cooking so you can experience the transformation. That's what I'm gonna tell you to do. I could care less about you being on keto, because keto is keeping you on a very low frequency. Because you're consuming nothing but meat. Carnal. Y'all, I did the carnivore. Y'all, I thought I was about to do that for the rest of my life. Baby, please, the most I said, you can't do what them other nations do. Baby, you being carnivore is making you carnal. I said, oh, okay. I done built me a whole community. I'm talking about my community on TikTok grew so fast when I thought I was doing carnivore. But I'm true to myself because I could keep that following. I could turn that page back on if it was image for me, but I'm obedient. Carnivore, it's making you carnal. It's making you have think very earthly. It's removing you from my spirit. Y'all doing all of this keto and all this mess because you want to look a certain way. Baby, what your spirit look like? What your soul look like? What your wellness practices look like? And I'm not talking about pumping iron and restricting yourself from certain foods because you don't want to gain weight, because you want to keep your muscles, or women, you want to have your behind big and small waist. Very carnal. But these are the same people who are running around with their head chopped off because the system is failing. And if they're not running around with their head chopped off, they don't have no peace at all. And for somebody like me, oh, we can see. So I just want to let y'all know that these facades y'all got up, that's why a lot of us don't like surface. Don't come to me talking surface. I don't care. Baby, because I see the root. I see the problem. I see the demon. I see the struggle. I see it all. Why? Because I've healed myself. I did the work. And now understanding that, yes, I still need my darkness. I'm feeling it. Now I can understand the feels, right? Because we have these aches and we have these pains and we don't understand why we feel these things. It's the trapped emotions. That's why we feel it. You don't want to feel the way you feel? Then educate yourself on all of the emotions that are out there. Because all we know is about 20 of them. All we know is about 20. But there are so many more. There are so many more. And Christianity will tell you that you don't need shadow work. It's a lie. Because your shadow is where those emotions are. It's where those trapped emotions are, and they want light. But you are holding them hostage. The Most High doesn't despise small beginnings. I'm going to say it again. The Most High does not despise small beginnings. Meaning, you have to start somewhere. Show him you want the transformation. Show him you want the change. I'm gonna move y'all over here.
Even better.
That's for the cookies. I have a Transwestern order, office order on Monday.
Okay.
Was it Monday? I think it's on Monday.
This Monday.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you want some?
These are my notes, y'all. I'm taking notes. I've been taking notes all day. Huh?
Oh no, I was saying, what is that? An apple?
That's apple pie.
Okay.
Okay, so again, we're gonna fry. We're frying in grapeseed oil, okay? And listen, if you can't afford the grapeseed oil, and if you have to use vegetable oil, then use vegetable oil. I'd rather you use vegetable oil than you eat the meat, especially if you are in a space of healing. So again, I use food, okay? I use food as a tool to heal. And I teach you how to. So I have my grapeseed oil. I'm gonna let it heat up, and then once it heat up, I'm gonna show y'all what it looks like. To just drop them bad boys in the oil. You are?
It might be cool. It's just my little claws are grip.
Because I've been cold. I've been having my little heater.
I'm just having my flashes. Depending on my.
Okay. Don't get a little, I just put it on 70, so.
Ranger, I'm sleeping in your bed?
No.
Okay.
How rude. Turn the TV off.
It's my bed.
What?
I'm
Did
sorry.
you?
I'm
I
sorry.
not understand that, but did you go to, were you just at Granny house?
Yeah.
Okay. Did she share her bed with you?
Yeah, but I didn't sleep on it for a day. I never sleep on it.
Okay. We have an air mattress.
That can be put in my room or yours
Okay, so.
or just out here.
Okay, so now where we're at is, now we talked, okay, since we talked about the masculine side of anger, now we're gonna talk about the feminine, right? So again, like I said earlier, the feminine, it,
Because of how many times I accidentally drop it.
what does it do? The feminine, it receives, right? It feels, right? And it flows. Okay? If the energy is not flowing, and if you suppress it, guess what? It becomes masculine. And not only does it become masculine, but it becomes toxic masculinity. And that can go for male or female. Toxic masculinity. And I like to say masculinity. Because what you did is you created a personality with each trapped emotion instead of dealing with it. So let's see if this is hot. It feels hot. Right? So it says when anger is trapped, also the feminine becomes blocked. So you can't even live a soft life. You can't live a soft life. You can't, because it's blocked. It has to flow. The energy has to flow. So, and I tell my daughter, anger is not, y'all, anger is not, it's not bad. You know when it becomes bad? It becomes bad when you don't allow it to flow, when you judge it and you stop it, and then it sits in your body. That's when it becomes negative. We have to find ways to express ourselves, right? To release, right? Release. We have to release. So when the feminine becomes blocked, what happens is that it becomes blocked by fear or emotional overload. Emotional overload. When you are not allowing that spirit, or when you're not allowing that energy, those emotions to flow, right? And especially anger, and you feeling like you want to explode, it's because of emotional overload. And think about it. Nobody is telling you to not express yourself. Nobody is telling you not to express yourself. Remember, these emotions come, they they come when you are between 0 to 7 years old. And then you live out that programming until you wake up. So what I'm doing is I'm helping you wake up with food. So until you heal that mother wound and until you heal that father wound, you're going to continue to go in cycles, right? Until it's healed, right? You're going to continue to go in circles. You ever heard same shit, different day? Remember I told you shit? Still holding in trauma. Still holding it in. So you get the same situations, different people because they look different, but the spirit the same. And it's all for you to see so you can change it within yourself. Everybody you see is going to be a reflection of you, whether past, present, or future. Look. This is the oyster mushroom. This is how it looks. So we just, I don't deep fry. So I just use, you know. Rain, where's your dad?
In the way.
Okay.
As always.
He in the office. Okay. So, okay, so what's this? She stops trusting, right? She stopped trusting safety in expression. She stopped trusting safety in expression. So she doesn't even express herself anymore, right? When the feminine is suppressed because of not expressing yourself due to anger, you don't feel safe to let it out. And then I'm gonna tell y'all like this, and like I said earlier, If you don't have a trusted person to talk to, baby, solitude. This is why solitude is important. Sit with yourself and speak. Don't keep it in your head. Write it or speak it so it can get out. That's it, y'all. So again, we're frying oyster mushrooms for hot wings. We're replacing the chicken for oyster mushrooms. And I'm just about done here. Okay, so now when the feminine is blocked, right, because of anger, this shows up as avoiding confrontation, okay? Now, confrontation and conflict is two different things. Let me explain, okay? Confrontation is when you bring a concern up to the forefront and you talk about it, okay? That's confrontation. Bringing an issue to the front and we're going to talk about it like adults, okay? A lot of people can't do this because they have a lot of anger in them. Conflict is when the person who has a lot of anger results into fighting or wants to fight or so angry that you can't express yourself properly, effectively, okay? And so crying instead of speaking your truth. Crying instead of speaking your truth. And you would think that you crying is an emotional release, but no, because it only comes off as emotional manipulation. Because you're not expressing yourself. Those tears, a lot of those tears is manipulation. It's not releasing because you're not talking. Holding tension in the womb or the heart space. So again, we went over the chakras, okay? The womb will be connected to the sacral, right? The sacral is your ability to create. A lot of people creating out of fear, right? I told you that manifestation, you have to use your words to manifest. So if your womb, if your sacral is distorted and it's not spinning like it's supposed to, then you create fear. You're not speaking, or if you are speaking, you're speaking negatively, which is keeping you stuck, right? So that's that. And your heart chakra, right? Which is your ability to be open. Your heart is feminine, right? Being open and not being closed off because of your experiences. So when the feminine heals, she feels soft, or she softens into, she softens into emotional honesty, expressing what she feels without shame. That's big, y'all. And this goes for both men and women. It's not about women only. This is men and women. This is why women have one-ups on y'all. Because we understand our emotions. They're not trapped. Well, some of us understand our emotions, not everybody, but some of us do. So, you have that. And then I think, oh, okay. So, now let's talk about integration, okay? So, we talked about the feminine. We just finished talking about the feminine. Earlier, we talked about the masculine. Now we're going to talk about integration. Integration is when you put those two frequencies, those two energies together. What two energies? The divine masculine and also the divine feminine. Okay? You're putting the divine feminine and the divine masculine together. Together. Okay? And let's talk about it. So the masculine says, I will protect this space. Okay? Now, hear me out. Okay? Because even if you don't have somebody in the physical to protect the space, you still have the Most High who's there, who's listening, who's waiting to hear from you. So the space is already protected for you to speak out how you're feeling, what you're feeling, what you're seeing, right? And then you have the feminine. The feminine says, I feel safe enough to express what hurts. So y'all see that? That's the integration. The integration is the safe space being created and being able to speak now because the safe space is created. And like I said, that space has to be created within you, not waiting for somebody outside of you that you could express yourself to. Now, if you feel like you are somebody who has to go through therapy and this and that, baby, all I'm going to say is that the spirit is powerful. All you have to do is do the work. Want to do it for yourself. Want to do it for yourself. Because that's where the change is at. You don't know what other people are experiencing in their lives. It's like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to take advice from people who still have stuff, unresolved stuff. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. So, together, anger, okay, it transforms into self-honoring energy, power with compassion and purpose. So the integration, what it looks like once it's been healed, it looks like compassion and it looks like purpose. Compassion for yourself and purpose. And I think that's it. And so, again, I'm going to tell you to use food to heal. So, again, when you think of root, when you think of red, when you think of anger, the color that's associated with anger is red. So, eat some red foods, right? Red bell pepper. What else is red? chili.
Good.
What else is red? I think that's all I got right now. But eat red foods. And most importantly, eat your food. Eat fast.
Wait, hold on.
Fast. How about that? And I always say do 21-day fast. I did Daniel fast in my life. I constantly didn't even know. All I know is that I was changing my poor habits with better habits. And because I was addicted to sugar, that's exactly where I started. That's exactly where I started. But okay, y'all. I'm gonna be done. I'm gonna take these and coat them in the spicy sauce, which is crazy because we're eating hot wings, plant-based style, right, with the oyster mushrooms. And I'm gonna fry those tomorrow, maybe.
See, look.
And we're gonna coat them in the wing sauce, and I'm gonna show y'all what that looks like.
You turn it the wrong way when you do it. Look, okay, go that way. Now go that way. No. It's 2 steps. See, come look.
See?
Come look. See?
Don't that look like a little chicken wing? Don't hate on it, okay? Don't hate on it. Y'all get a crunch?
You see that one, the third one?
Oh, it's like.
Then go that way. Then turn face that way. No, you keep missing the step. Done. Halfway, whole way. Turn the whole way. Okay, now turn it backwards. Yeah, then you go backwards.
Okay.
So my turn. Let me see if I can do it. Yeah, look at it, make sure I do it. So she went.
Oh, you're barely jumping, but okay.
Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
You good?
You're barely jumping.
I'm jumping. I did. Barely jumping.
So what I'm doing now, y'all, because they're done, I'm gonna take this and somebody sleeping.
And definitely not me.
Of course. Oh, that water hot. Okay. Look at that, y'all. Don't that look like a little chicken wing?
Like the leg part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Look,
Yeah.
come here. Remember I was telling you about After World? This how it used to be for Halloween time.
That's not what I thought. For you, it may not be.
I wanna see this story.
Did y'all see that?
What happened?
All I know
Oh!
is that I was too loud. All I
You
know-
twisted it.
I
heard it
twisted it and I was
fly.
about to shake it and it just went everywhere.
Popped.
It was like pop. Hear me drop, 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 drop. Can I try one before you spice it all up? Okay, I remember something like this when we had our old house. When the power went out, we had both spicy and normal wings with fries.
She remember that when
Yeah.
the storm.
Yeah,
knocked the
it's
ball.
always in my memory. It's always gonna be. My childhood's always
This-
gonna be in my memory.
This is a
Corgi, everybody losing. Everybody dancing in the pool, but now everybody losing.
that's so good. They're probably gonna need a little bit more seasoning on the regular one. I didn't over season it because I was gonna coat it. It was good, y'all.
You got some on the walls.
Oh, on the wall? Really?
It went splat.
Oh my
Don't
God.
do that.
Is it a lot?
Just one big splat.
Yep. About keep pink.
That sucker was under pressure.
Well, I guess so because I was shaking it.
But it still should have settled down by then.
But that's what I'm saying. It didn't explode. The top was loose. So when I took this off,
it-
how can I explain it? It didn't explode.
Oh,
The top was loose. When I took this off, I shook it. But it was open.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But well, y'all, I guess. Hey,
At least you got yourself a meal.
I'm gonna take everything and turn it into positive.
Mission was
We
accomplished.
just
Just
ended
the sauce wanted some extra sauce.
we just ended the discussion talking about anger and the hot sauce exploded. But okay, y'all, I'm gonna make sure y'all see what this looks like.
After we finish cleaning up. Do, do, do. Do, do, do.
We'll be back right after this commercial. Y'all see? Hold on.
It's like hot wings to me.
And it's still crunchy too. Look. Fried oyster mushrooms. I'm not going to post this right away, like the live, so it'll be up soon. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I am your girl, Steven Tia Harrison. And I will be back when? I don't know when I'll be back live, but I'll be back.
Why do they have everything but avocado?